The federal government of Nigeria is planning to spend 1.5 billion naira on vehicles for the office of the First Lady. The amount is contained in the supplementary budget sent to the National Assembly for approval. Now, President Bola Tinubu had on Tuesday asked the National Assembly to approve the 2.17 trillion naira supplementary budget. The budget was approved by the Federal Executive Council, FEC, at its meeting on Monday. Now, coming amidst the country's economic challenges, the planned expenditure has not been well received by many Nigerians. Anyways, to join us discuss this now, I'm being joined by financial analyst Kalu Aja from Abuja. Thank you so much, Mr. Kalu Aja, for joining us.
How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, Mr. Aja, how exactly can we justify the purchase of exotic vehicles for the First Lady when the country is facing economic challenges such as these ones?
We can't. That's the simple answer. We cannot. And it's not about the First Lady or the amount. It's just the thinking, the process behind what's going on. The president has asked Nigerians to endure, to work with him on this reform that is happening. But then they're buying yachts and luxury cars that are going to be imported. And this is borrowed funds. It's not from the budget. We're going to borrow these funds to import cars for the First Lady, that's not an office, and also to buy presidential yachts and to renovate homes and all that. So the optics don't look good, right? It's not the amount, it's not who it's for. It's just that we seem to be the ones suffering, and then the political class, the presidency, the legislators don't seem to be suffering with us. That's actually what's going on.
I mean, Mr. Kalu Aja, a lot of people will term this insensitive because to the, regular Nigerians grappling with rising inflation and all of that, this sends a different message. What message do you think that this will send to every Nigerian citizen right now?
It does say that there are two different classes in Nigeria. The politicians, the elected politicians are not under austerity. The taxpayers are under austerity. The taxpayers have gotten their PMS subsidy removed, or we have not removed the subsidy on SUVs. There is nothing that the political class have sacrificed. Nothing. The National Assembly has their cars. The First Lady has her cars. The President has his presidential air fleet and is going to get a yacht. There's been no sacrifice on their part. On our part, we are paying higher taxes, higher fuel costs. Our wages have been stagnated by inflation. So it's just, the message is that the optics are wrong. They're not listening to the people. They're not reading the room. This is an economy in trouble. We are borrowing money to pay interest on borrowed money, not even salaries. And then we are spending on frivolities like imported luxury SUVs. So we're not really on the same wavelength with the rank and file Nigerians. That's really the message that we're sending out.
So you did mention that it's not about the cars, neither is it about the First Lady. It's about the thinking, right? What if this was, justified in a way? For example, recently we understand that some of the reps got cars worth, I think, 160 million. And, they were given different reasons, like because of the bad road, because of mobility, because they have to work.
Yeah.
Are these reasons good enough reasons, even if there are reasons for it?
No, I mean, if they bought locally made cars, that's actually stimulative. Imagine if they bought Nord or Innocent cars with those funds. It's actually a stimulus because they're going to create local jobs. But they are importing. So see what they're doing. They are borrowing in dollars to import cars into Nigeria, then service those debts using Nigerian income. It doesn't make any sense in any way you look at it. The IMF has told us to increase and to remove subsidies. We're going to borrow from Wall Street. We already have Euro bonds. All these debts. It's creating a deficit. It's going to increase our taxes for them to enjoy. It's just as plain as that. There is no justification. If, again, it was locally produced cars, no problem. This is why I go back to the point. It's not the amount or who it's for. It's the optics and the message they're sending. So how will they come tomorrow and say, hey, we want to pass these painful reforms and we want the Nigerians to support us? I'm not going to support anybody passing any reforms to increase my taxes going forward because they're not taxing themselves. They are buying yachts and luxury cars and I'm paying the taxes. So we're not the same boat. That's just what's going on. And when you lose the trust of the people to support you in painful reforms, those reforms get harder and more expensive. And that's what they're going to see going forward. It will be harder for them to pass difficult reforms in the Nigerian economy. And that's going to be a big problem.
All right. Finally, now, I mean, it's not news that there have been fears about how funds in the country are being managed, and even when the issue of the 2023 supplementary budget, the budget for 2024 came out, a lot of people were saying things like it will be mismanaged, and they do not trust the government to handle it properly. So, what is the way forward? How do we ensure accountability, which again is something that we've been clamoring for the longest time? How do we ensure that these people properly use the money, effectively manage these money, and disperse it for the actual purposes they're meant for?
This is the thing, right? No, a budget is talks about your intent. It is your intent in Naira and Kobo. That's what a budget really is. If you hire good managers to write a good budget, then it's easier to monitor that budget for performance. Right now, what they've written this budget today, Nigerians have written it off. Look at social media. We're basically voting right now on social media that the budget, that this is a waste of funds. If you lose the trust of the people, then it's hard to monitor the budget. People are going to tune off completely. They're not going to care. On terms of the private sector, we've got little great organizations like Tracker that is tracking the implementation of budgets across Nigeria. That's what the private sector is doing. But in terms of the government side, the quality of the civil service, the quality of monitoring of the budget really has got to go up. Every year we see innovation. Every year we see buying computer software. It's like they take the last budget, increase the numbers, and present as a brand new budget. There's no change. It's the same budget, change the numbers, and represent, and then we pass it. That's why you see no effect. So the way to answer your question, the way to enforce change or to have these things work is to hire very good managers. The guys we have right now, I don't think I have confidence in them to prepare a budget to Nigeria for the largest economy in Africa. I don't think they have that capacity to do that.
All right, financial analyst joining us from Abuja, Mr. Kalu. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
It's a pleasure, and you too.